I'm going to assume this is your first ever Monster Hunter game, just in case. Let's go over some basics. These will be the same ones that are covered in the training quests. If you have just started, after going through the Felynes dialogue, press square to get out of the hot spring bath, get changed, and leave the guild hall. Go down the steps and talk to the village chief. She will give you 1500 Z. If she doesn't give you 1500 Z, you chose to start with a tutorial during character creation. Run to the left and enter the training school. You should talk to the training guy, but you don't have to do any quests. I'm going to cover everything except the last 3 quests that he has in this video. Talking to the village chief should now give you 1500 Z. Let's use it to buy some supplies. Walk down the steps and on the left here is the item shop. I recommend you buy 2 pickaxes, 2 bug nets, and 5 worms using your starting 1500 Z. To your right is the smithy area. For now, the lady behind the counter is the equipment shop. She will sell you weapons and armor without you needing materials. If you've never played Monster Hunter before and this is your first game, the sword and shield is a very good starter weapon, and for simplicity's sake, I'd recommend to just go to the sword and shield section and buy the one that's there. It's better than your current weapon, and that should leave you with 20 Z remaining if you're following along. Don't worry too much about money, you can always get more. If you know or think you know what weapon you'd like to use, feel free to go to the sell page and sell some weapons that you aren't interested in right now for some extra money to buy that weapon instead. Switch Axe is new to this generation of Monster Hunter and is pretty fun if you want a second recommendation. It can take some getting used to, but the same could be said about all of the weapons. The weapons you start with are bad versions of the weapons you can buy in the equipment shop. You can always buy them back later. For brevity, I'll be assuming you are using a melee weapon throughout this video. Don't let that stop you from trying the ranged stuff. I'll cover ranged weapons at a later time. Let's go back up to the village chief and accept a quest. Go to the 5th one and select Harbinger of Terror, then head out of the village to your right. The guy at the bridge will be helpful later, but you can ignore him for now. After the cutscene finishes, feel free to look around your base camp. Before we continue, I want to mention that your quests are timed. In most cases, you're given 50 minutes to finish your quests, which in almost all cases will be more than enough time. However, if you want to play along with this video or need to do something for a bit, you can pause your game with the pause button in your start menu. There are a few things here in camp. The blue box here will give you some helpful supplies. Always take the items that you need from this box. In our case, let's take everything. Notice since we took the map item, we can now see the area map on the right side of the screen. There's a bed here. Sleeping in it will heal you fully. It's not always practical to use, but if you're nearby and want to top off, you should use the bed instead of wasting items. The red box looks just like the blue one. This is the delivery box. You take items from the blue box and you put items into the red one. If you ever have items to deliver, this is where you bring them. More on that later. And finally, there's the Feline Traveler. You can give them items to take back to the village for you once per quest. This is a very useful feature if you ever find yourself with too many items that you want to keep. Just head back to camp and hand over your goods. Let's not do that right now. Remember, it's only once per quest. Let's head out of camp now into Area 1, as you can see on the map. For now, if you'd like, feel free to just pause the video and explore a bit. You can come back when you want. There should be a link to a resource map showing where you can gather things in the description below. They're extremely useful. Continuing on, Area 1 has 4 gathering spots. One for berries, one for whetstones, and one for plants. Run up and press circle to gather. If you're going to gather from something more than once, you should crouch first. That will make your later gathers faster. Keep doing this until a prompt disappears, which means that the resource node is empty. There's also a spot to gather bugs right before the transition to Area 4. It looks like a few fireflies. You need a bug net to gather from these nodes. Gather from this node until it's empty or your bug nets break. They'll do that, don't worry too much about it. Then, let's go to Area 4. In the previous area there were some Kelbi. They're mostly passive creatures. This here is a Bullfango. They will attack you on sight and on the bane of our existence. Press triangle to initiate persuasion mode, and then use triangle and circle buttons to persuade the Bullfango to leave. You may also be able to press triangle and circle together to do a special move. In the case of Sword and Shield, it's the jumping slice attack. Once it's dead, you can press square to put your weapon away. Be careful because this will also use items if your weapon is already sheathed, and we don't want to waste anything. Go up to the Bullfango and press circle to carve it. There are 2 more Bullfangos in this area. Eliminate them. Hopefully after carving all of them, you would have gotten some raw meat. If you didn't, that's alright. This information is still useful to know. You can see if you have raw meat in your inventory if you press start and select inventory with circle, but also on your item bar in the bottom right. You can hold L and scroll with square and circle. Not all items will appear in your item bar, but if it does, you can use it by letting go of L while on it and pressing square to use whatever item is currently selected. Don't do that with the raw meat right now. While we're on the topic of using items, if you took some damage during that fight, you can restore it by using a first aid med, which was from the blue box. You can also use herbs that you may have picked up from Area 1, but they're not as effective, and we want to use the herbs for something else soon, so don't use any right now. Again, don't use the raw meat, but if you did, you will put it on the ground, which can work as bait for some monsters. You can combine some things with raw meat to create bait that will both distract and impair them, such as poisoning, paralyzing, or putting them to sleep. We can also cook the meat, and if you took everything from the blue box like you were supposed to, you'll notice you have a portable spit. If we find it in our inventory, you'll notice it and the other items we got from the blue box are all supply items. This means that these items will be removed from our inventory once the quest is complete, so don't be shy about using any consumables like these. You can't take it with you. Not all items taken from the blue box will be supply items, but most of the time they will be. To cook the meat, all you need is a barbecue spit, like the portable spit supply item, and some meat. Then you select the spit and use it. This will start a minigame with some music, but it's not automatic. It may take some getting used to, but here's how it works. A song will play. Try and keep the beat with the music. Once the music stops, try and keep that beat going, and you'll notice that the meat will change colors in between the second and third beat. That's when you press circle. If your sense of timing isn't so great, that's okay. You can try to rely on your reflexes instead. The meat will change colors 2 times. Once when you need to take the meat off by pressing circle, and again when you're too late, in which case it will be burnt. You'll get the hang of it. Well done steaks can be eaten and will give you 2 extra stamina bars. Your stamina is represented by the yellow bar at the top of the screen. This is useful but also important, as your maximum stamina will decrease in chunks as the hunt goes on. Bringing meat to fill and refill it to max will be necessary for some of the longer hunts. If you're too low on stamina, you won't be able to run, and other stamina-reliant actions will become almost useless. You were also given rations from the blue box, which will restore 1 chunk each of your stamina. Again, these are supply items, so if you lose a chunk of stamina, gobble down a ration to restore it. This is what running out of stamina looks like. You can jog normally, but sprinting with minimum stamina will cause your character to move slower than normal. You can also only roll once before waiting for your stamina to refill. Stamina will never go lower than 1 chunk, that's 25 stamina, but you never want to let it get there if you can help it. We're almost done here, but over on the left side of the area there is a mining node. This is the same as a bug net node. You need a tool to harvest from it. Mining nodes usually look like cracks in the walls. When you approach, you'll know if it's a mining node or not because the prompt will or won't pop up. Alright, we're done here, so let's head to Area 7, the top transition out of this area. In Area 7 there are more hostile creatures. These are called Jaggi. They're cute little troublemakers that can swarm you if you're not careful. Take them out and carve them. You may notice as you're fighting that a message popped up saying your weapon power has decreased. This means your sharpness has gone down a level because you've been hitting monsters with it. To restore sharpness, simply use one of the mini whetstones that we got from the blue box. It's a lengthy animation, so make sure you're in a safe area before using it. At the bottom part of this area, there's a place where you can gather mushrooms. Gather until the node is empty, and then let's go to area 9, through the left side area transition. You may have also noticed that there's a bug net gathering point in area 7. I won't tell you where everything is, feel free to explore on your own. And feel free to gather from the bug net spot, of course. If your stamina is getting any lower, feel free to eat a steak or some of your rations. A full stamina bar extends to the edge of the screen on the top right. Now that we're in area 9, there's a place to gather mushrooms on the bottom part of the map, and most importantly, a place to gather honey on the top left. We are here to deliver, that is, to put in the red box, 5 royal honey, so let's gather from both the mushroom and honey nodes until they're empty. There's also some Altaroth here. They are passive Neopterons, bugs, that will go to resource nodes and fill up their stomachs. If you kill them when their stomachs are full, they will drop a special item. This is a shiny, and many monsters can drop them, including large monsters. Most of the time their bodies will explode, but if their bodies are ever intact, you can also carve them like any other monster. If they go for the honey, wait for them to fill up and kill them to get some extra honey. Or if that's a bit too heartless and cruel for you, you don't have to do that. I understand. They're very cute. Let's move from here to area 3. In this area there are some felines. They're passive unless you give them a reason not to be. In this area, if we climb up here, there are special items called bamboo shoots. Gather them until you can't anymore. Bamboo shoots are what are called account items. You need these to give you Yukimo points, which are used to upgrade the farm. After that, let's head to area 2. In area 2, there's another Jaggi and 2 Jaggia. They have a similar appearance and name, but there are some differences. They're bigger, move less erratically, and they give you 2 cards when you kill them. There's some mushrooms here. Gather them. Hopefully from all of these mushrooms, you will have gathered at least 1 blue mushroom. At this point, our inventory is getting pretty darn full. We've made a full lap around the map and have been to every area except for 5, 6, and 8. Let's go back to the camp and use the Traveling Felyne to send back some items so we're not so full. Give them all of the items that you can except for any pickaxes, bug nets, worms, and honey, herbs, and blue mushrooms, if you have any. Remember, this is a once per quest function, but that's alright for our purposes right now. I said to keep herbs, blue mushrooms, and honey specifically because we are going to combine them to make healing potions. If you didn't get any honey, herbs, or blue mushrooms, that's okay. This information is still important to know. Combining is essential to know about and is used to obtain and improve various useful items. In our case, potions and mega potions. Press start and go to combine. You'll see that your honey, herbs, and blue mushrooms are highlighted. Select the herbs. Now you can see that honey is not highlighted. This means you cannot combine herbs with honey, but you can combine it with blue mushrooms. As you can see, there is a 95% chance of success, so let's roll those dice, baby! Hopefully you will have made at least 1 potion. If not, that's alright. This potion has the same effectiveness as the first aid medicine supply item from the blue box, but you can bring this item to and from your quests. Now, combine the potion with the honey. Honey acts as a general improvement material. It's very useful for combining and improving a few things. In our case, mega potions. Notice how mega potions have a success rate of 90%. In the item shop at town, there are 2 Book of Combos, Volume 1 and Volume 2. Using these together, you can increase your combined success rate. Using the first one will add 5% to all combination recipes, and using the second one with the first one will add 10%, making both potions and mega potions guaranteed to succeed. You can buy those books later on, and you should. You can put and use them in your item box in the village, or take them with you if you want to combine during a quest. Hopefully you made at least 1 mega potion. If not, that's alright. You should use this information to your own benefit, maybe saving up for the combo books and bringing them with you to make potions in the field, or gathering honey to combine with potions that you've also combined or bought from the store at 66Z each, whichever is more convenient for you at the time. Now, let's deliver our items. Interact with the red box. If you got 5 royal honey from the beehive earlier, the quest is now complete, but I hope you didn't. and I feel like the quest might not actually let you get 5 from just that area. You'll be met with a screen tallying up how many account items you just turned in and how many Yukimo points it has earned you. You also get the same amount in Seni. This will of course free up your inventory to hold more items. There is one other beehive in this map to get more royal honey from, but before we get to that, let's go out to area 6. On a side note, if your timer is getting low, don't panic. You will fail the quest if your time runs out, however, leaving the quest like this will allow you to keep all of the items that you've gained. However, if you pause and go to abandon quests, you will lose all progress, meaning any items you've picked up you don't get to keep. But this is very useful because it will also give you back any items you used during the quest. If you spent a lot of resources but have died twice, meaning your third time will fail the quest, you can abandon the quest to retry it, giving you back your used items. It's like a reset button inside of the game. You can also just reset your game if you prefer. Once in Area 6, you can go over to the bottom left and use the worms we've been hanging on to this whole time to fish. I'd say fish at least once just to get to know how it works. Fish are more useful to gunners as you can use them in combining to make bullets, but there are some fish that are useful for blade masters or just hunters in general as well. To fish, use your bait. Then when a fish nibbles at it, press circle when the bobber goes underwater. If you're too late, it'll get away and might even eat your bait. If you're too early, the fish won't be on the hook. Feel free to catch around 5 fish before moving to Area 8, through the waterfall. It's worth noting that you don't actually need any bait to fish, but it seems to make it easier by giving you more time to press circle when the bobber goes down. Once in Area 8, there are some Jaggi here. Kill and carve them. There are also some Bnahabra, which will fly around and try to sting you every now and then. They can be very annoying and dangerous. Not in their own damage, but they can paralyze you and get you hit by a large monster's big attack. Take them out if they get close, but you don't have to focus on it. The thing we're here for is the monster nest. We're going to pick up an egg and carry it back to camp. There are a few things that can help a lot before we pick it up. First of all, make sure you have plenty of stamina. You'll want to run with the egg, and if you run out of stamina, you will drop and break it. Secondly, clear the current area and potentially the areas leading back to camp. In this case, we'll be going through area 6, then 2, then 1, and then back to camp. Keep in mind that while holding an egg, you cannot use any items. Doing so will cause you to put the egg down and you won't be able to pick it back up. You also cannot roll or you'll drop the egg immediately. This can be useful if you find yourself in trouble and decide to abandon the egg delivery. So, hold R and run towards Area 6. You can think of this as a rite of passage, but you don't have to do this if you don't want to. It is useful though. Once in Area 6, go to Area 2. Watch out for the Jaggi and Jaggia that may have respawned, and then Area 1, and finally camp. If you're being attacked by a small monster, you want to be careful. Try and bait an attack by walking normally, and once they get close enough, avoid being hit by running. In some cases, it's just better to sprint past and hope for the best. It's your call. You'll get a feeling for it. I won't blame you if you want to use save states, but I will silently judge you. I'm just kidding. Once at camp, go to the red box and press circle. Don't press any other button or you may risk breaking the egg and also your heart. This should give you 1200 Z and Yukimo points, which is fantastic for this early in the game. Again, this is optional as it is frustrating, but give it a try if you're up for it. And finally, let's go to Area 5. There's a special surprise waiting for us there. If you've already gone there, you know what it is. But if you've been following along, feel free to pause now and go in there and see it for yourself. Remember to pause if you want to come back to the video. Alright, since you're watching now, I'm assuming you went in on your own or you don't care for surprises. So, the large monster in Area 5 is called Arjuros. It's not particularly dangerous, but for a new player this can be a handful for sure. I'd recommend, if you've been following along, to not worry about fighting it right now. Try and move around the monster and don't get hit. Gather from the honey and try to get the remaining royal honey to turn it in and finish the quest. Any way you do it, get the last bit of honey you need and turn it in. If you'd like, start the quest again and go fight Arjuros for real, but we'll get to him later. Really, don't worry about it right now. It's important to know that you don't always have to fight if it's not part of the job, and that it's okay to run away. You're above petty things like hubris and ego. You work with purpose, you don't waste time, you get the job done whether it takes you one attempt or many. Once the quest is complete, you'll get some victory music and a bunch of numbers and some rewards. In almost every case, you just send all of the items to your item box. You can always get them from there if you need them for some reason anyways. Finally, go into your home and go to the item box and put away any extra items you still have, and have a rest to save the game. When you're ready to continue, finish the 2 slaying quests, Jaggi Takedown and Bully the Bullfango, since you now know what they look like. Remember that Jaggi are different from Jaggia. Don't forget to gather honey and use bug nets and pickaxes and save up for the 2 book of combos. Whenever you go out on a quest, do some gathering. It will help in the long run. Good luck. You got this. Until next time.